Hey, what's up everyone? This is R13 and let's get started. So today we are reviewing the HGUC Double Zeta Gundam from the Mobile Suit Gundam Double Zeta. This kit was actually released back in 2010 and the price tag varies depending on location. I actually got to stop giving out price tags because different countries got different rates. Okay, now let's move on because we got a lot of segments to cover. Now for the history of this unit here is actually quite interesting, and we're going to start off with its pilots. Yes, with an S. Now its main pilot is actually Judah Ashta, and the other pilot is Ru Luca. There's actually a couple more known pilots, characters, but these are the two that actually switches their pilots. Due to the fact the size of the unit itself, Judo sometimes prefer using the Zeta Gundam due to its speed and mobility, and compared to the Double Zeta Gundam that is actually huge with a lot of firepower. Now this kit here actually got multiple features. It's actually transformable, and it actually based it off the original Gundam, the RX-78. And there's actually two main system here, the core top and the core base. Now the core top actually got the upper body and the double beam rifle, while the core base actually have the lower body and the backpack, and it actually have a Neo fighter attached to it that can be piloted, which is actually quite nice. And then it can actually transform into the G Fortress. It is a heavy bomber practically that can actually cruise in space and on Earth. Now as for the development history of this unit here, it's actually built by Anaheim Electronics, and the fun part is this is actually was already being developed way before the Zeta Gundam was actually developed. It was ended up being delayed and shelved, and due to the success of the Zeta Gundam, they actually developed the Double Zeta here. And it actually have another name that is not well known by everyone, and a special symbol. And I don't know how to pronounce it. Like you got that symbol there, the O, but then its actual designation, the other designation is the Theta Gundam, which is actually quite nice. Not everyone actually knows about this when I was doing my research. So also another fun fact is Judah Ashta is actually one of the known pilots I know of, that actually a Gundam pilot that I know of that actually lived way beyond 60. The Zeta here, the Double Zeta here itself actually got a very unique history. It even survived, and its other designation is also known as the Gump. Wow. Yeah, it's actually quite interesting the way the Double Zeta survived for so many years. For that part there, I suggest that you guys do your own research, and you know what? I will leave the link in the description below. Now let's move on to the next segment. For the weapon system, the first one is located at the side of the forehead, typical of a Gundam unit. The 60mm Vulcan gun. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. And then the next one is the high mega cannon that is actually located in the forehead. A very powerful weapon here. Just wow, fascinating. And then the next one is your high mega cannon that is actually transformable here, which is actually quite nice. And then the next weapon unit here is the Hyper Beam Saber that is located just like a your typical Gundam backpack, and I'm holding it right now, and you can actually convert this into a Hyper Mega Cannon as well. So 2-in-1 Hyper Beam Saber and a beam cannon. So I guess the way it's positioned is it's got to be rotating like this. Wow, it's fascinating. And then the next one is the 21 tube missile launcher that is actually located in the backpack here, as you guys can see, which is actually quite fascinating. Then last but not the least is the wing shield that is actually foldable, which is actually quite nice, and a pair of two of them. Really fascinating. Okay, well, these are all the parts that you will need for its basic form and transformation form. Now, the first one we're gonna start off, I actually removed all the hands. You only got 3 hands here. The first one is the open palm for your beam saber. The next one is your right hand trigger. So that's it for the right hands. And then the next one is the closed fist left hand, and that's all the hands that you will get, sadly. Now the next part is this piece here. You get a small piece, important for the transformation apparently. And then the next one is you get a pair of beam saber effect parts here. So you'll only be using once. A little bit annoying because you only got 3 pieces here. So you can't even, you'll actually have to find a unit or what do you call that, some other parts to be able to have a double beam saber pose. Now the next one is you have your, what do you call this now? The Neo Fighter that you'll be needing for the transformation. And then you got your cones here, thrusters. And then the remaining pieces here are for your transformation mode. Yeah, and apparently you can even store the thrusters. I actually don't know how it works. Let's see here. Okay. Yep, there it is. Wow, fascinating. And then you can actually put in other pieces. So I'll just show you guys the picture. There you go. That's how it's supposed to look like. Now let's move on to the next segment. Now let's move forward with the NUBS seam line and articulation test here, shall we? The first one is the double beam rifle. Okay, there's the handle there. There's what do you call that? The scope. The double beam. As you guys can see, there's mobility there. It's actually quite nice. And you guys can see the nubs and the seam lines. So proper seam line removal will do the trick by using either Tamiya cement or putty and some sanding. Okay, now the next one here is the unit itself. Now let's take this apart here. Okay, you get the backpack that you can actually remove easily. There's a slot there. Okay, and then you got the lower part here, the waist and the legs, and then you get the upper body. Now we will start off with the backpack itself here. Now as you guys can see, there's the nubs and the seam lines there. Again, sanding. And then the mobility test, you can remove this piece here easily. Yep, very, very easy. Okay, you get your wings. Thrusters doesn't move. Okay, now the next one is the legs itself. Okay, as you guys can see, the legs here got some seam line at the back there, part of the joint, but it's somewhat well placed. And this one here, for the front one, it's actually designed that way, so it won't be too obvious. Okay, now for the mobility here, this is actually also, there's a slot there for your basic action base, and it's a ball joint, so you get the limited articulation there. It's gonna be hard to pose. It's not double jointed. There's the feet. The feet doesn't the feet is one piece, And then you get your side skirt here that actually rotates. That is actually connected to the legs, not your typical side skirt. And then the front skirt. The back skirt is just one piece. And you can actually remove this part here to actually show a slot there. Definitely for transformation. Now for the upper body here. Oops. There's a piece that almost fell off. Okay, so you get the wing here. Got some mobility. As you guys can see, there's some details there. And nubs and seam lines are actually well placed. You do have some seam line here and some nubs that you can easily replace or fix. You get your wing here that you can actually remove as well. You can remove this easily as well. Now for the waist, doesn't move. For the head, some good articulation there. Okay, that's it for the articulation, nubs, and seam lines. There's really not a whole lot for the nubs and the seam lines. You can actually easily fix that. Now let's put this back together and do some transformation, shall we? Okay, we're all ready. So I decided just to show you guys the manual here so you guys can actually see real time practically on how easy or hard it is transforming the Double Zeta Gundam here, HGUC version. Okay, now let's get started here.
Can you hear me? We could be legend. I have nothing to lose. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Wake up. I know what's real. Escape reality. Hardwired. We used to look up at the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. This is the world you've made yourself. Now you have to live in it. The end is in our sights. The future is already here. No matter how hard we tried, we are doomed. Say your goodbyes. Brace yourself. I can see the end inside. Three, two, one. Hardwired. Can you hear me? We could be legend. I have nothing to lose. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Wake up. I know what's real. Escape reality. Hardwired. Switch. We used to look up at the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. This is the world you've made yourself. Now you have to live in it. The end is in our sights. The future is already here. No matter how hard we tried, we're doomed. Say your goodbyes. Brace yourself.
Okay, wow, that took a lot longer than I expected, but you know what? It's all worth it due to the fact that we did find an issue, and that is this specific piece here on both sides. It's loose, it falls off, so I had to use a little bit of a clay. I know it's messy, but I was short on time, and I want to show you guys the G-Fortress form here. Now, is this unit worth getting? Definitely. Of course, there's certain issues that showed up during the build and transformation mode, but it's all worth it. You actually have definitely 4 to 5 options here. Now, one of the last option is actually the Neo Fighter here that doesn't actually have a slot to actually put it on an action base, but you can kind of drill a hole underneath if you want to. Yeah, but the other ones is the mobile suit form, and then number 2 is the core top where the double beam rifle is located in the upper body, and then you get the core base where the legs and the backpack is located, and then the last part is its G-Fortress form that you guys are looking at right now. I decided to keep it in this form for my final thoughts here because it took me a lot long, and I do need to make additional videos for the double Zeta here. Highly advisable. I really enjoyed building this. Well worth the wait, the price. If you can find a good deal, go for it. and lots of great opportunities here, aka Gump. If you guys know what that is, do a Gundam Wikia search. Okay, now that's all the time that I got, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Really appreciated. Remember, have fun, relax, and enjoy. That is Gumpla. I'll see you guys on the next video.